first of all, just your thoughts and your reaction on your new 1-year deal.
Yeah, delighted to have signed. Been enjoying my time, especially over the last few months, of course. So yeah, I'm just really happy to sign and obviously work towards the goal of getting us back up into the league.
Yeah, my next question was what do you hope to achieve over the course of this season and the next season? I imagine you've just answered it.
Yeah, I think it was, of course, my initial goal coming up. That was the conversation around promotion, getting the club back into the league, and then some. And that's still the goal in place, to be honest with you. Albeit it's been a few years, and we wanted to do a bit earlier. But yeah, that's definitely the goal still.
Do you still want to play in the EFL before you finish your playing career?
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I want to be doing. And with a club like Chesterfield as well, big club, and that's where it belongs as well, back in the league. Shouldn't be in this league, to be honest with you, but we are where we are. A lot of hard work to be done, but yeah, I think we've sort of started that now over the past few months, as I mentioned. So yeah, it's a good feeling around the place at the moment.
I mean, for you, it just wasn't a new deal signed, club captain as well. What does that role mean to you?
I think it's pretty much business as usual. I think, of course, Will wear the armband. He'd be the captain because he's been doing incredible at that. I think for me, it's just sort of more in the background, looking after the players and just helping out with those bits and pieces. So yeah, it's kind of like similar to what I've been doing, really, just sort of mucking in and just making sure everything ticks over in the background.
Do you welcome that extra responsibility? Do you like that extra responsibility around the club and with the team?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, it's pretty much what I have been doing. There's not, for me, there's not too much difference in the way I go about my business anyway, in terms of trying to look after the youngsters and, again, just putting on bits and pieces that's going to help us, i.e. like sort of lockdown stuff, and just sort of all putting together and just being kind of like, I suppose, a team player. So there's not much difference for me, maybe a little bit more on the community aspect side of things, which I enjoy anyway, working with those guys. So for me, it's enjoyable. I like it.
Yeah, because that's the third sort of element to the news last week about the ambassadorial role with the community trust. I mean, for you, why is it important to do things like that?
I think it's just a bit of giving back, isn't it? The support that we get from the fans and the community is second to none. So I think it's just important to be giving some back and just helping out as and where I can. Whether that be sort of some Zoom calls around mental health and with those teams, or whether it be when we're in isolation, putting on bits and pieces in terms of like fitness stuff that the guys can use in the community and stuff. I had quite a few people reach out and say that's helped them. So yeah, I think, yeah, mentally and physically just helping out and giving a little bit back.
I mean, in particular at this club, the link between the fans, community and the club after the way that the last 5 years has gone is absolutely paramount, isn't it, now going forward?
Absolutely, yeah. And they stuck by the club, of course, and we haven't been anywhere near as good as we should have been, and not at the level that we should be at. So I think with that in mind as well, like you say, it's important to stay together, and we have done. And hopefully things are looking up, yeah, and they've got some good stuff to look forward to now. So
you've been a regular this season, both under the former manager John Pemberton and under James Rowe since he arrived. What's sort of been the key differences, do you feel?
I think, well, after just an example, after the Altrincham game, I was having a conversation. I think there was only 3 players that played against them last time as opposed to this time. So of course that's a massive change. The Gaffer's brought in a lot of players, a lot of really, really good players. Pretty much changed near enough like the whole team. So that obviously played a massive part. I think the way he wants us to play, the intensity he wants us to play at, and the training's lifted in terms of our work rate, but that just makes us fitter as well. So I think even as we said about lockdown, we're on lockdown, but we're still ticking over on everybody's doing their own bits, and we're doing stuff as a group as well. So we're always working to stay fit, to stay sharp. Yeah, so I think that changing the team and the intensity of our work has been a massive difference.
Seems to have come in with a really sort of clear vision of what he wants to do. It seems to have also been very much sink or swim for the first few months. He's obviously wanted to bring players in and make changes. Is that sort of how it's felt, that you've all had to impress quickly?
Absolutely, yeah. Came in And just sort of say clean slate for everybody, but he will be bringing players in, and of course he's done that, and quite a few players as well. And yeah, it's pretty much felt like go and show us what you can do, and yeah, we've done that. And I think if you look at the squad, not just the guys that are playing, you look at how good sort of we can put out a second team at the moment as well. And with the amount of games we've got on our schedule, that's going to be really important. Everyone's going to play their part, and it's healthy competition as well for places. So it pushes you to keep performing, keep training hard. He's very much into his sport science and stuff like that. So he's looking at distances and high intensity and what work you're doing. So yeah, it's keeping us on our toes for sure.
I mean, results overall would suggest this, but do you feel that the squad is knitting together well between those fewer players that are still left from before and the players that have come in?
Yeah, definitely. I think you look at the squad and there's no one in there that I would say is a bad egg. And I think everybody that I'm sure are thinking to themselves they should be playing. Of course, you always back yourself. They're not sort of sulking or anything like that. Everybody's come together and everybody wants everybody else to do well, and they're encouraging, they're all mucking in, everyone's playing their part. So I like that about the team as well. There's a real togetherness at the moment as well, and anybody that steps in, you've seen it so far, they've done really, really well. So as I said, that the team is not just like a whole squad of players and you've got the 11 that are playing, you've got a whole team there that can come in and do a job. Really, really good players.
Looking back at the weekend, did you deserve to take something from Stockport?
I think it was pretty much a nothing game. I think up until the first goal, there wasn't too much in it at all. And I looked at some stats that were shared the other day, and it was pretty much, like a nothing game. If we come away with a 0-0, you probably just say, yeah, that's about right. But again, I think apart from that, we've done really well. And I think coming out of isolation, 10 days, 6 points from 3 tough games, I think we would have probably taken that before the games, to be honest with you.
How impressed sort of generally have you been at the way the squad has come back after your third period of isolation? I mean, it's a bizarre season, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, it's very much different to what anybody knows. And I wouldn't say I've been surprised, because as I said, we've had to work, albeit we're at home and stuff. We've had to do the graft. Like I say, like the fitness Zoom calls and our own other bits and pieces that we've been given to do. So it's pretty much stay ticked over. Yes, I know it's different to game fitness and match fitness and stuff, but I think where we work so hard on the training pitch, you've got that kind of like base, and then you're just topping up over the 10 days. So for me, if you look at it in a way of a little bit of a rest, and you're coming back, you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, have a little bit of a rest, and then you're refreshed to go again. I think that's how we felt going into games, as opposed to over 10 days off, we're not match fit, if you like, and we've had to start. So we've looked at it in a positive way, as opposed to, we've been sitting home for 10 days, because that's not what we did.
Yeah, because you mentioned mental health earlier, and there could be that way of looking at things, because obviously there's been a number of positive tests. There's all been the uncertainty around the future of the National League season as well. Do you feel that that James and the other staff members have helped you all to keep that sort of positive mindset while there is a lot of uncertainty both around the club and the league?
Definitely, yeah. I think even you look at the guys that in the community and stuff, they're just asking, can you do little videos and you can do little bits and pieces? It just keeps us ticking over as well. Can you jump on a Zoom call for 20 minutes, half an hour? It just keeps you stimulated. The gaffer, after the Zoom calls that we've been doing, the fitness stuff, he's saying, listen, make sure you or try and be doing a little bit of this a day, a little bit of that day, a little bit of reading, just stuff just to stimulate you, to keep you going and stuff. And I think that's helped. Everyone's checking in on you, the staff, and that, get a little call here and there, and how you're getting on, and do you fancy doing this, you fancy doing that. So you never sort of left to your own devices. So it's always sort of, in place as much as they can do. Of course, there's not loads of manpower, of course, at this level, but there is bits and pieces they're doing to make sure we're staying nice and positive. So that's always good.
I mean, there's been quite a few false dawns over the last couple of years. Did you finally feel that the club has turned a corner and the team has turned a corner under James Rowe and the Community Trust?
Yeah, I think so. I think I feel positive, and I look at our form. Okay, we lost the other day, but we're still doing really well. We've still put some really, really good wins together and performances. And I look at Notts County away, tough place to go, and I look at Stockport away, really, really tough place to go. And again, off the back of the 10 days away from it all, and I'm happy and positive, and I think we have turned a corner. Yeah, to answer your question.
Are you only looking upwards now? I mean, with the games in hand, you've got a fantastic chance, really, of making into that top 7.
Absolutely, yeah. I think when the gaffer came in, he would say the same thing, that it was kind of like consolidating, making sure we're not going to be doing what we was doing for the last couple of years. But I think now, how we start to look up the table, and you say them games in hand, and that yes, you've got to win them and get some good results. But we have been doing that, so if we can continue with that, yeah, I suppose we can let's take it as far as we can.
Of course, Eastleigh next, a chance to close the gap a little bit. What are your thoughts ahead of that one?
Yeah, going into it positive. As I said, the last 3 games, 6 points. We're at home. We're doing really well at home as well. So we're going into that major positive, and we're going to go and win a game. Thanks,
Curtis. Best of luck with it all.
Thank you.
You've been at the club now for 2.5 years, coming up to 3 years. Do you feel like you're really feeling at home now, and that you've got a really nice connection with the club?
Yeah, definitely. The longer I'm here, the more welcome and yeah, togetherness I mentioned before as well with the community and stuff like that. And again, I'm doing more and more stuff with those guys as well. So it's like bringing us together, and I get some really nice messages and stuff like that with, again, anything that I try and do to help out. So yeah, it's really nice.
And just to go back to your new captaincy role, obviously not much changes from your point of view, but how big of a proud moment is that to be officially named?
Yeah, it's great. It's an honour. You know, again, big club, a club that we want to go places as well, and to be given that is yes, responsibility, but yeah, I'm really, really proud as well, and happy for it.
Results have massively improved since the new manager has come in. What does he ask of you as a player?
I think he wants to play a certain way. Again, I mentioned high intensity, making sure that you're on it all the time. Everything's 100%. He's very thorough. He's very disciplined, down to the very, very small details. So I suppose, as much as on the physical side, he wants your concentration. He wants you on the ball every time you're at work. He wants you making sure you're giving 100% physically and mentally. So it is demanding, but it's working as well. I like to actually work that way myself, so it's perfect for me, and the players have responded really well to it. So it's been good so far, yeah.
And it looks like you're playing in a slightly deeper role this season compared to last season. How are you finding that?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, to be fair. I mean, I think if I look at the last sort of 4 or 5 games, I've probably been kind of like in all 3 positions of the midfield that we play, the 3 in there. So it's a bit different games. So again, like that concentration where you have to just, right, 1 minute you're playing as a sitting midfielder, next minute you're playing in kind of like the number 10 role, if you like, and you've got to kind of switch on and make sure you're ready for that, and just try and do my best to do that. But yeah, I've played in those positions over the years anyway. So yeah, I'm enjoying kind of, I suppose, being changed around. Just happy to be playing, to be fair, to contributing.
And there's really big demands as a midfield player at Chesterfield at the minute with the new manager, with the pressing and the high intensity. How are you feeling the effects of that now, and the amount of games that you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, yes, I do. Of course, I think everybody will, disregard of age and all the rest of it. So it is demanding, but I think for me, it just makes me be on the ball with my recovery and my fuel and my making sure I'm doing everything I'm doing right, getting in early, doing my bits and pieces, staying a little bit later and doing some more after. So I suppose I've just got to manage it, and I've just got to keep working hard to keep in the best shape possible, and to, yeah, make sure I'm ready for all of that. But no, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, fit, and able to do the work and then some that he asks of me. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Was there a point in your Chesterfield career where everything just started to click a little bit? Because speaking to people who reported on the club before me, perhaps you got off to not the start you would have wanted, but since then you've really hit the ground running. Was there a particular point where it just all came together?
Tough one, because of course, coming up again mentally, the conversation's always around promotion. We're going to get promoted. We're going to do this, that, and the other. Of course, massive club like Chesterfield in this league with the squad that we had as well, and all the rest of it, and all the conversation around budget, etc., etc. And then we go and we don't do anywhere near as well as we should do. It's always tough. So in terms of like a clicking point, I mean, because it's been so up and down, it's tough. But I probably last season, when we got going last season, it's probably where I thought to myself, we can go on and do some more bits and pieces here. And personally for myself, I'll probably played the best football since I've been here, since sort of like after sort of 10 games last season, if that makes sense. And then from then on, so I'd say sort of start of last season, I really thought to myself, right, okay, you can kick on here and do something.
And you probably had your own goal of the season contest last year. Can we expect one or two or more of them perhaps at some point this season?
Yeah, if I start playing a little bit further forward for all games, hopefully I can get a few more shots off. But we'll see. Yeah, at the moment, Kwasi's doing a bizzo, so I've not had to chip in. But no, I'd like to get some more goals, of course. So I'll be working hard to do that. Bit of finishing in training.
In terms of the fitness side, then, is that something that you would like to do later on in your career, go into that side of things?
Possibly, yeah. Again, conversation with around the community and stuff, because people do reach out and ask if I can do this, that, and the other. And of course, football's number one, and I couldn't deliver anything like that right now because, of course, it's full-time football. But after, I'm very much into my fitness, and it's definitely something that I'd consider, for sure. Would
you say you're probably more likely to go into that than maybe coaching or management, or do you have ambitions to do that as well?
Yeah, no, I'll probably say more the fitness side for me, as opposed to any sort of coaching or managerial movements, personally.